So once I have this as a screencast, and if you look to the top and left and the right and the bottom of wherever the screencast is, you're likely going to see some ad by somebody trying to make money. Now, I've been using advertising on my website for a while, and I do get comments from people, well, it's a nice site, but why does it have so much advertising on it? It really doesn't. I mean, there's an ad at the top and maybe one at the side. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I wanted to explain sort of my ideas about advertising, and I have to be very careful that I don't violate any of the terms of service with the advertising systems that I use. So I'm trying to be careful about that. But there's some things that I want people to understand. Internet advertising is not like traditional advertising. In traditional advertising, refer to things like the ads you see in newspapers, or the advertisements you watch on TV, or those gosh dang advertisements that come on movies that pay $10 or more to go see a movie, and I got to sit through 5 minutes advertising at the beginning. So believe me, I understand the frustration of advertising, but you have to understand that it's not the same with web advertising, at least not from my perspective. And if somebody has a better system, please let me know. Essentially, this is my understanding. With your everyday advertisement, let's take a television advertisement. People make a television show, and that television show earns revenue by selling ads that run on the show. So yeah, maybe you pay for your cable bill, but it's not really your cable bill that's paying for the show, it's the advertising. The more popular the show is, the more that the show can charge to put advertising in its spots. So okay, that's sort of like the internet. I think that if you have a more popular website with advertising on it, you probably are going to get more money when people click on those ads, and that's the point that I'm trying to get into. In television advertising or magazine advertising, there's no action required. Money is generated by the privilege of that advertising being put into the production, period. So if the ad is crazily stupid and doesn't make anybody want to buy the product, it doesn't matter. The people who design the ad and the people who put the ad in the paper don't have to be the same people, and the effectiveness of the advertisement doesn't really have a lot of bearing on whether or not the magazine gets paid. The magazine gets paid anyway. Now, I should be careful to say that if a company keeps putting ads in a magazine and they don't find that advertising effective, guess what? They're going to stop putting advertising in that magazine. They're not going to waste their money on it. The point is that internet advertising is different. For the most part, at least from the end user or web publisher, in my case, I only receive advertising when there is some type of action taken from the ads that are presented on the site. So if you're looking at my website or anybody's website and you see those little Google ads or that little advertising or that little image, that doesn't mean, at least not exactly, that the person making the site has gotten any money. You know, if you actually go to that ad or click on that ad, a little image, that doesn't mean, at least not exactly, that the person making the site has gotten any money. You know, if you actually go to that ad or click on that ad, and I want to be very careful, I'm not suggesting that you go around clicking on ads. I'm against fraudulent ad clicking. What I'm saying is that no money is made until an action is taken. Now, there's basically two breakdowns of actions. One is a simple click. So clicking on an ad, certain programs, will generate money for the person, the publisher, as well as for the advertising group, the ad distributor, whatever you want to call them, like Google AdSense or AdBrice or any one of countless others that I can't think of off the top of my head. The point is that clicking on it, there's a revenue generation that occurs, and you're able to make money. No click, no money. But some would argue if they have a lot of impressions, what we need to understand is a lot of these programs do make money off of impressions. It just doesn't go back to the publisher, or in this case, to my pocket. So I suppose if there were 100,000 impressions, I might make a few cents. But the actual distribution channel, let's take Google AdSense, they are making money off of those impressions. But I'm not really as a publisher, at least nothing significant. If somebody's made more off of impressions, please send me a message and let me know. But I don't think that's generally the case. The second type of advertising is sort of pay per action. Now, a click is an action, but a pay per lead. And this notion is around the idea that the person running the website or the publisher of the advertising does not receive any revenue, no money in their pocket, unless a specific action is taken by the viewer of the website. Now, this might be something like submitting your resume to Monster.com. If you have a Monster.com ad and somebody clicks on it, submits their resume, then they give you a few bucks. Or gives an email address or provide lead information to another company. Same idea. When they sign up for a newsletter, maybe. Same idea. If they buy a product, same idea. There needs to be some sort of actual action taken before the revenue is generated. So why is that important? Why does that matter? Advertisers, from their perspective, want to get money when they're able to convert the most amount of leads or the most amount of information they can into an actual sale, right? So if I'm trying to advertise my product, I want to get my product known, I want that advertising to be effective, and I want to be able to see that I'm generating income money from my advertising. So it actually works out pretty good for the advertiser, because the advertiser can say, well, look, if they're not taking any action, if I'm just showing my ad and my ad isn't getting me anywhere, I don't have to pay, or I can pay very little. Okay. Again, in regular advertising world, it doesn't really work that way. If the ad is ineffective, it's not really the fault of the person who put the ad in there, right? Maybe I should correct that. It is the fault of the person who put the ad in there. It's not the fault of the content provider that's showing the advertisement. So in the example of a magazine, if you put an ad in your magazine and that magazine has lots of people reading it, but not many people buy the product that is being advertised, it's not really the magazine's fault. Here's another example on the internet. You can design a terrific ad that's just amazing and captures people's, wow, I really need to go see that site and see that product. And then when they click on it, they get to the site, and the site is just crap. It doesn't meet the expectations of what they felt that the advertisement was telling them. And they say, well, this is stupid, I'm not going to go look at this. Well, the advertiser doesn't realize that. They have no way of distinguishing between a click that there was a genuine interest in the product that faded, or a click that was done of a fraudulent nature. This fraudulent clicking is kind of interesting. But the point is that to them, it didn't generate a sale, it's no good, I want my money back, didn't like this ad. So am I saying pay-per-click is a bad thing? I think that would be a bit, what's that word? Hypocritical of me, because I have pay-per-click ads on my site. So to say that I don't think they're very good isn't true. What I would say is that it's not the same. I want people to understand that it's not the same as traditional advertising systems. And the other thing is that I'd like to sort of educate people in the fact that it's advertising on its own is not a bad thing. I mean, like I said, I get frustrated by having to sit through ads and watch ads when I'm trying to watch my TV program, or like I said, see a movie at the theater. That can be very frustrating. But I guess the other way to look at it, or what I'd like to try to impose, is that somebody has gone to an awful lot of effort to make a product, or make something, whether it be a tutorial like this one, or a cool program, or design an operating system like Ubuntu. Somebody's went to an awful lot of effort, or some degree of effort at least, to make this sort of work. And if there's no income from it, I mean, they can do it because they want to be popular. Just look at any of the videos on YouTube. Not really getting any money from that, although I hear soon that might change. But people don't get income from that. They just do it because they kind of want to see if they can get the popularity, get lots of people watching their video. The point is that if you're driven by revenue, you're probably not going to get rich off of this type of advertising. Others may say differently, but I don't think you're going to get rich off of it. What I do think is that you put your work out there. You know, if you're a musician, you get royalties, right? If you make a movie, the people who acted in the movie get paid for the movie, and the return is the ticket sales if the movie's successful. So it should and kind of works the same way. I mean, I put out my content, I put out my information, I put out my tutorials, and if people like them, if they're valuable, if they're popular, theoretically, it shouldn't be so bad for me to be able to take a few bucks home for that work that I put into it. Especially, I mean, there's people, and I'll be honest, that put out a lot better content than I do. At least, really well-produced stuff, and they're getting nickels and dimes for it. People aren't going around clicking on advertisements. They don't even like them. So, what are you going to say? Anyway, important final points. I'm not telling people to click on ads. I'm not saying go around and click on all the ads you see. If there's something there that you do find interesting, please go ahead and look at it. It's fair to the publisher. It's fair to the advertiser. Everybody wins. But just keep in mind that this is a work that has been created, and if you want that work to keep going, to ongoing effort and to have somebody continue to contribute, they want to get something out of it. I mean, it would be nice to just give them a thanks and support those sponsors that are there, and support that advertising system. So again, I'm not saying just go around and click on ads. I'm just saying consider when you're viewing something, if something is a good work, if something is inspirational, if something is inventive, if something taught you something, somebody put effort into helping you with that, and it's only fair that they be helped back. So that's all I'm saying. Trying to be very careful not to go against any terms of service. Again, there's somewhere in this screencast, there's going to be some type of advertisement around this. Then you might ask yourself, well, the guy who made the screencast is getting money from these ads. True, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. The point is if there's content on this site, is it valuable? Is it helping me? And am I contributing? Am I helping say thank you for putting this information out there? So seriously consider whether or not there's good quality advertising in. And I want to plug Google AdSense for this. I mean, if you're trying to figure out advertising, and I don't believe in putting all your eggs in one basket, so I'm not saying just go with one company. I think you need to go with multiple companies. But one of the things that Google AdSense seems to do, in my opinion, better than anybody else, is to look at your content, some automated way, I assume, and figure out what you're all about and what you're talking about, and then target specific advertising about that content. And there's a lot of providers out there that say they do that, and I've tried a lot of providers, and I'm not saying they do a bad job. They're great, but Google AdSense, I just think, does a number one superb job of putting those advertisements around that are really relevant to what it is that something's talking about. And that's just amazing. So we'll see how this works. Again, my next step will be to try to create a screencast, and we'll see how it goes.